What's up everyone and welcome back to the channel. Let's dive into our first news. Alex Pereira looks fully prepared and motivated as he heads into his highly anticipated rematch with Magomed Ankalaev at UFC 320. In a recent vlog posted on his YouTube channel, Pereira gave fans a behind-the-scenes look at his preparation. He revealed that he currently weighs 234 pounds, looking strong and ready to make the cut when fight week arrives. Despite the pressure of such a massive fight, Pereira appeared relaxed and confident, showing his trademark calmness even while discussing the upcoming challenge. He joked about how things don't feel difficult for him right now, explaining that he can move better, skate better, and even walk around with more ease compared to before. Pereira highlighted how training and discipline have put him in a good place both physically and mentally. His demeanor showed that he's not feeling the weight of the moment, but instead embracing it with confidence. The champion's mindset was clear, and he seemed eager to prove himself again inside the octagon. As the vlog continued, Pereira shared lighter moments with his team, enjoying the journey while also staying focused. He spoke briefly about small daily routines, even joking around with perfume before switching gears back to training focus. Near the end, he made it clear that the team was all set to head to Las Vegas. Pereira told his fans they were leaving tomorrow, asking for good luck as they made their way to the fight capital. Surrounded by his team and carrying momentum, Pereira looked locked in, ready to step into the cage for a war with Ankalaev. Before moving to the next news, we have one quick request for you. We are constantly working on improving our content to earn your love and support. That is why we truly appreciate it if you could take just a moment to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update here on MMA Pulse News. Moving on to another news, Merab has opened up about how he is still adjusting to life as a UFC champion. Despite his recent success, Merab admitted that the role comes with challenges he never had to deal with before. He is scheduled to defend his bantamweight title against Cory Sandhagen at UFC 320, and while he remains focused on that task, he also revealed that if he wins, he wants to turn around quickly and face Peter Yan next. Speaking to MMA Junkie, Merab explained that he does not feel comfortable yet with the champion's lifestyle. He said every fight in the UFC has always been important for him, whether it was his very first bout, his third, or now while holding the belt. The goal has always been the same, and his motivation has never changed. In fact, he feels even more motivated now. But becoming champion has brought new responsibilities. Merab noted that when you are the champion, you become more popular, and with popularity comes distractions. There are more people pulling you in different directions, more opportunities that require attention, and at the same time he has family, friends, teammates, coaches, and even neighbors that he feels he has to give time to. Balancing all of this is not easy, and Merab admitted he is still trying to figure out how to manage it. Even with all these challenges, Merab's focus on his upcoming fight against Sandhagen remains sharp. He said he knows this fight will not be easy and refuses to overlook his opponent. Winning is the only thing on his mind right now. If he manages to defend his title successfully, he wants to stay active and return quickly for another fight before the year ends. Merab explained that he would like to ask the UFC for a favor, to fight 4 times in a single year. That type of activity would be rare for a champion, but he is determined to stay busy and prove himself again and again. As for his next potential opponent, Merab did not hesitate to name Peter Yan. He said that Yan is the clear contender in the division and the most deserving fighter to get the next shot. By calling him out, Merab showed respect to Yan's position, while also making it clear that he is ready to take on all challengers. Whether or not the UFC grants him that chance after UFC 320 remains to be seen, but Merab has left no doubt that his mindset is set on defending the belt as many times as possible and showing he is willing to take on the best at every opportunity. Moving on to another news, Charles Oliveira has sparked major controversy in the lightweight division after blasting multiple fighters who, according to him, are all talk and no action. The drama began when Rafael Fiziev was forced out of his scheduled fight with Oliveira at UFC Rio due to injury. With the spot suddenly open, several lightweights, including Renato Moicano and Mateus Gamrot, quickly threw their names into the mix. Even Benoit Saint-Denis had previously said he would be willing to step in on short notice. But in a recent interview with MMA Fighting, Oliveira made it clear that many of those who publicly volunteered to fight were not willing to actually back up their words when the UFC called them. Oliveira didn't hold back his frustration, explaining that everyone already knows his UFC Rio fight is off, but people shouldn't fall for the talk from fighters claiming they're ready to step up. He emphasized that when the UFC actually reaches out, those same fighters start making excuses. Oliveira said, "Everybody knows my UFC Rio fight is off, but don't fall for the talk of these guys out there saying, 'I'm here, I'll go.' Because the UFC is calling and they're all saying, 'Oh, there's not enough time to make weight. Oh, I can't.' They're posting this on the internet to get hype. Stop it, it's not a good look. I saw one saying this, another saying that, but when the UFC calls, what do they say? Oh, I can't. I got a bellyache. I broke a finger. I hurt my hand. Enough with that. It's not a good look. I want to fight at UFC Rio. I asked for this fight. My opponent got hurt. Then 10 guys show up saying they would fight. So far, every time the UFC calls asking, "Let's fight," they say, "I can't." So stop with that, because it's not a good look. Do you want fame? Do something else. Don't come saying you'll fight when it's a lie. His words quickly sent ripples through the MMA community, with fans questioning who Oliveira was pointing at directly. The Brazilian star, known for his sharp submissions and aggressive style, was clearly frustrated by what he sees as fighters trying to use his name for clout rather than truly stepping into the octagon. He didn't single out anyone specifically, but the timing of his comments made it clear he was aiming at those who had just been vocal about replacing Fiziev. One fighter who didn't take long to respond was Mateusz Gamrot. He addressed Oliveira's remarks directly and showed respect while also making his stance clear. Gamrot said, "Respect, but I told UFC straight, I want to face you in your own house. This will be a true masterclass on the ground, and I'm ready to prove it." His response added more fuel to the fire, as many fans immediately began speculating about whether the UFC would book Oliveira versus Gamrot in Rio. For now, the situation remains uncertain, but Oliveira's harsh words have certainly drawn attention. He has made it clear that he doesn't want empty promises or public posturing. He wants someone who will genuinely sign on the dotted line and fight him in Brazil. With UFC Rio fast approaching, all eyes are on who will step in and whether anyone will prove Oliveira wrong by actually showing up when it matters. Moving on to another news, Daniel Cormier has shared his thoughts on why he believes Dana White should allow Jon Jones to fight on the highly anticipated White House card. According to Cormier, Jon has made it clear he wants to be part of that historic event. Recently, Jones was even spotted at the Grammys walking the red carpet, talking to the media about how he's back in the testing pool and fully ready to compete at the White House. Despite that, Dana White appears more determined than ever to stand firm and keep Jon Jones off this card. Cormier pointed out that Dana's stance today feels more serious than at any point before, even recalling the time when Dana canceled a fight between Jon Jones and Chael Sonnen years ago. Back then, Dana publicly declared that Jones would never headline again, yet eventually softened his position. This time though, Dana doesn't seem like he will back down. He looks set on keeping Jon out of the White House lineup, and that decision, at least in Cormier's view, might not be the right call. Cormier explained that, if it were up to him, he would let Jon Jones fight. He argued that for as much as mixed martial arts is a global sport, embraced by fans all over the world, an event held on the White House lawn carries a very different meaning. At the end of the day, it's about America being represented on its own soil, in its own house, and that means having top American fighters in big matchups. Cormier stressed the importance of having American fighters who can win in front of that home crowd. He painted a vivid picture, saying, "Imagine if the UFC puts on a card at the White House and by the end of the night, American fighters aren't getting their hands raised. That's a scenario that could easily happen." For example, he brought up the upcoming Conor versus Michael Chandler fight. When the betting lines open, Chandler will likely be a significant underdog against Conor, and even though Conor hasn't fought in a long time, he will still be heavily favored to win. Cormier noted that this is exactly the kind of risk the UFC runs if they don't have strong American names like Jon Jones on that card. Cormier concluded that the best move would be to let Jon fight but include strict terms in his contract. Those terms should ensure that if Jones were to break the rules or fail to follow through on his commitments, the consequences would be very costly. This way, the UFC could still safeguard itself while delivering one of the biggest names in MMA history on a stage as monumental as the White House lawn. After sharing his thoughts on Jones and Dana, the focus shifted to another fighter making headlines. John Silva, fresh off a tough TKO loss to Diego Lopez, is already looking ahead and calling for a huge fight. Speaking to AG Fight, Silva admitted that Lopez was sinister inside the octagon and fully capitalized on the opportunity to take him out. Silva said he's going to stay quiet for now, observe and prepare himself, but he made it clear that fans can bet on him crossing paths with Lopez again sooner rather than later. For the immediate future though, Silva has set his sights on a new target. He wants Yair Rodriguez in December. Silva declared that is the fight he's chasing, and he's confident it's going to happen. His call-out instantly got attention because a matchup with Rodriguez would be explosive, pitting two aggressive and creative strikers against each other. Silva's loss may have been a setback, but his determination to step right back into the fire shows that he's not looking to fade away quietly. Instead, he wants to rise up again by taking on one of the biggest names in the division. Moving on to another news, Israel Adesanya is back in the headlines, and this time it's about his desire to rematch Sean Strickland. At 36 years old, Adesanya has faced a rough patch in his career, suffering 3 consecutive losses, something that has left many fans wondering about his future inside the octagon. But according to his longtime coach Eugene Behrman, Izzy is not done yet, and there are still some big moments left in his career. Behrman spoke in an interview with Submission Radio, where he revealed that Adesanya has essentially reset himself this year. After the tough loss to Imavov earlier in the year, Izzy took some much-needed time off. That break allowed him to heal, refocus, and find a new rhythm. In the past couple of months, Adesanya has been back in the gym consistently. He's training twice a day, every day, with full dedication, working on both his physical and mental preparation for a possible return by the end of the year. Behrman emphasized that the process now is not just about getting his body back in fighting shape, but also about sharpening his mindset. He explained that Izzy has always been someone who thrives when he is mentally locked in, and right now that's exactly what he's working on. The idea is to make sure that when he does step back into the cage, he's prepared for a challenge that excites both him and the fans. As for the opponent, Behrman was clear that no final decision has been made. He admitted that there are still a few fights left for Adesanya, but the focus is on choosing something meaningful, something fun, and something that motivates Izzy to perform at his best. While no specific names were mentioned, Behrman hinted that Adesanya himself naturally wants the rematch with Strickland. It's not surprising considering how their first fight went. Behrman acknowledged that on that particular night, Strickland had Adesanya's number. He outperformed him, earned the win, and even got to hold the title for a period. There's no taking away from Strickland's performance, and Behrman was honest in saying that it was his night. But at the same time, he expressed confidence that if Adesanya and Strickland meet again, the result could be very different. He believes Izzy and his team have the tools to deliver a much better performance, one that would show fans the true level Adesanya can still compete at. In Behrman's view, the hunger to reclaim what was lost is natural for any fighter, and for someone like Adesanya, who has been at the very top, it's even stronger. He wants to get that one back, not just for his record, but to prove to himself and the world that he's still capable of greatness. Whether the UFC makes that fight happen by the end of the year remains to be seen, but one thing is certain: Israel Adesanya is motivated, he's training harder than ever, and he has his eyes set on redemption. Moving on to another news, Sean Strickland is once again in the spotlight, this time for mocking Israel Adesanya over something that has become a bit of a running theme at UFC press conferences. Strickland gave his reaction to why Adesanya always seems to move or get rid of the Monster Energy cans placed in front of him during media events, and he didn't hold back with his words. While reacting to a clip, Strickland questioned why the cans were even there, laughing about the idea and mocking Adesanya in the process. He said, "Why did they fill these up? It's silly," before adding his own jab at Adesanya's approach. He accused him of selling out and said, "You sold your soul to that monster. I can look in the mirror and be happy." His blunt and often unfiltered style came through, as he made it clear he doesn't have much sympathy for Adesanya's actions regarding the brand. Strickland didn't stop there. He went online and left a comment saying he was pretty sure the issue was about money. According to him, Adesanya had been in talks with Monster Energy, wanted more money, and that's why he kept distancing himself from the product. Strickland added that he respected the move from a business perspective, but also felt Adesanya needed to let it go, saying, "Damn man, move on." He followed it up by explaining his own stance, admitting that he actually likes Monster. Strickland even joked about his lifestyle, mentioning supercross, snowboarding, and dirt bikes, pointing out how Monster fits that world. He ended his comments by taking another playful shot at Adesanya, suggesting that maybe he should look into getting a nail polish sponsor instead. Once again, Strickland showed why he's one of the most outspoken and controversial voices in the sport, mixing mockery with sharp commentary, while keeping his unique sense of humor intact. Moving on to another news, Rampage Jackson recently found himself face-to-face with the man who nearly knocked him out during a sparring session. Not long before the incident where Raja Jackson assaulted Psycho Stu, Rampage had been streaming a live training session that almost ended badly. During that stream, he took a head kick that came dangerously close to putting him out. The clip made the rounds online, with fans commenting on how clean the strike was and how close Rampage came to being finished right there in sparring. Fast forward to last night, during another live stream, Rampage unexpectedly crossed paths with the same guy who had thrown that kick. At first, Rampage didn't hide his feelings. He admitted he was still mad about what went down, reminding the man about the incident with a bit of tension in his voice. The fighter, however, was quick to clear the air. He told Rampage that it was an accident, and he would never intentionally try to hurt him. He explained that in sparring things happen fast, and while the kick landed harder than expected, it was never his intention to cause harm. As the conversation went on, Rampage softened up. What started as an awkward and heated moment shifted into a genuine interaction between two fighters who understand the risks of the sport. By the end of their exchange, both men showed mutual respect. They shook hands, putting the situation behind them. Rampage even acknowledged that accidents happen in training and that what mattered most was the honesty and respect shown afterward. It was a reminder that in combat sports, emotions can flare up, but at the core, respect and understanding often win out. That's it from MMA Pulse News. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for daily MMA news.